Hey everybody, HomeSliceHenry here, and in today's video we're going to be checking out some incredibly cool battles in the Master League featuring an XL level 50 Poltergeist Chandelure. These battles were submitted to the channel by a member of the community, so many thanks for the battle submission. Now this trainer pairs up a Poltergeist Chandelure with a Hydreigon on the lead and a Shadow Ursaluna as the closer, so the entire team is very spicy. So without further ado, let's hop into the matches and check out XL Chandelure in action in the Master League. Hopping to the first match, picking up a pretty decent lead, Hydreigon into Shadow Snorlax. Even though Hydreigon does take super effective damage from Superpower, Hydreigon is resisting the lick damage, so Snorlax does not have a lot of fast move pressure in this matchup. Hydreigon is going to massively overfarm and then fire off their Brutal Swing. This will do some solid chip damage onto the Snorlax. Snorlax commits the first shield. Snorlax continues to farm and allows Hydreigon to reach a second Brutal Swing, applying quite a bit of pressure here. We see Snorlax commit both shields, a catch attempt onto Chandelure. Snorlax banks a bunch of energy and sends in Gyarados, but with no shields remaining, there is nothing to block the Poltergeist. Chandelure nearly one-shots the Gyarados with a neutral move. You've got to be kidding me. Aqua Tail will take out the Chandelure, but this just sets up a farm for Shadow Ursaluna. This Snorlax has a ton of energy, and they're going to start using it. This is easily enough for a superpower, and they do full send the superpower. They're now debuffed, so this will make for an easier farm down. Commits the shield, gets baited with a body slam. That's unfortunate. Snorlax able to reach a final charge move. I believe this is enough for the superpower. It is single debuffed, but it's still gonna hurt. In the back is Metagross, and this is game over. High horsepower will do massive damage, nearly taking down the Metagross, and that is a good game. Tough lead in the next match, Hydreigon into Melmetal. Melmetal's typical moveset can hit this entire team for super effective damage, so definitely not a fun Pokemon to see on the lead. Melmetal farms up a ton of energy. Hydreigon is going to let this first move through. Melmetal goes for the Flash Cannon. That does quite a lot of damage, and as opposed to a superpower, it's not going to debuff Melmetal's attack and defense. Hydreigon fires off the first Brutal Swing, able to reach a second one, but unfortunately, this is not going to be enough to KO. Melmetal is able to tank it aggressively. Switch into Shadow Ursaluna to tank the damage. Melmetal fires off a charge move. They go for another Flash Cannon, and they're going to send in Mewtwo. Mewtwo farming up. Mewtwo not able to reach the Psy Strike before Shadow Ursaluna gets the Thunder Punch. Thunder Punch is able to land. Mewtwo farms up to the back-to-back Psy Strikes here, and at this point, you just let this go. Ursaluna has done its job. Opponent goes for the Focus Blast. I don't know if the opponent is doing like a nuke charge move only challenge or something, but a Psy Strike definitely would have KO'd there. In the back, they have Dialga, and Hydreigon is able to reach a last-second Brutal Swing here, but this is all going to be up to Chandelure. These Dragon Breaths doing quite a bit of damage. Chandelure going for the Flame Charge as soon as they get there. Is the opponent going to shield the Flame Charge? Yes, they are. Can Chandelure reach another Flame Charge here? Opponent goes for the catch! Chandelure avoids it and is going to be able to connect with the Flame Charge. This Flame Charge will do a lot of damage, taking out Dialga, and that is a good game. Tough lead in the next match, Hydreigon into Dragonite. Both Pokemon are hitting each other for super effective damage with Dragon Breath, but Dragonite is able to outpace in this matchup, reaching the Dragon Claw before Hydreigon reaches the Brutal Swing. Hydreigon is going to overfarm and fire off the Brutal Swing. This will easily KO the Dragonite from this range. Dragonite is going to commit the shield. Hydreigon farming up, Dragonite forced to fire off a Dragon Claw, and honestly, that works kind of nicely here because this sets up Chandelure to get an energy lead. Chandelure able to farm down. Opponent is going to send in their own Ursaluna. Ursaluna double resisted tackle damage, but if they're able to reach Thunder Punch, Thunder Punch would do some damage because Chandelure definitely not the tankiest. Chandelure is going to commit the shield. It is the Thunder Punch. The question is, can Chandelure reach 2 more Flame Charges before Ursaluna reaches another Thunder Punch? I believe Ursaluna is going to be able to outpace here. Chandelure farming up, trying to go for the catch, was stuck in the middle of an Incinerate, and unfortunately, this Thunder Punch is going to land and take out the Chandelure. In comes the Shadow Ursaluna. In the back, the opponent's going to send in Zacian. Zacian does need 2 charge moves to kill here, and if they throw the close combat, they're going to lower their defense. Opponent goes for the play rough, not trying to lower their defense. Ursaluna firing off the high horsepower. This will do a lot of damage, getting the Zacian low. Zacian not able to reach another move. In comes Ursaluna. It's a race, able to reach the Thunder Punch, but this is double resisted. Is this going to be enough to KO? It is not. Able to get the tackle down and secure the win. Dream lead in the next match, Hydreigon into Mewtwo. You love to see it. And the Mewtwo is staying in this matchup as well, which is even better. They farm up. This could be an Ice Beam. Hydreigon is going to let it through, and it ends up just being a Shadow Ball. The opponent must be absolutely core broken by Hydreigon to stay in such a negative lead. Brutal Swing, able to land, taking out the Mewtwo. Opponent will send in Melmetal. As I mentioned earlier, Melmetal definitely a tough Pokemon for this team to see. Brutal Swing is going to land on the Melmetal, dealing some nice damage. Melmetal will have to throw a superpower to KO here, as Rock Slide will not be lethal. Opponent goes for the Rock Slide. That is not enough to KO. Farming up, switch, and trying to catch the Rock Slide onto Ursaluna. Were they successful? Yes, they were. That's a beautiful catch. In the back, the opponent has a Lugia, and Lugia is definitely not going to appreciate Thunder Punches from this Ursaluna. Ursaluna firing off the Thunder Punch. Lugia is going to commit the shield. This is a Sky Attack. We do see an immediate shield from the Ursaluna. Ursaluna is going to try and land more of these Thunder Punches. Firing off Thunder Punch number 2. Is Lugia willing to commit their next shield? Lugia is going to let that through. Not enough to KO, but will get the Lugia into the red. Lugia is going to hit back with the Sky Attack. Aggressive switch into Chandelure. Chandelure is going to be met with the Melmetal. Opponent sees the writing on the wall and concedes the match. Picking up a pretty nice lead in the next match, Hydreigon into Ho-Oh. Hydreigon does, of course, resist the Incinerates in this matchup, meaning that Ho-Oh is going to be forced to land a Brave Bird if they want to do any meaningful damage. Hydreigon fires off the Brutal Swing. Ho-Oh is going to let that go. Ho-Oh reaches 100 energy, and they're forced to start throwing charge moves. This Ho-Oh is running Earthquake instead of Sacred Fire, so they fire off the Earthquake. That does not debuff their defense, meaning that if they shield this Brutal Swing, they will be able to reach a last-second Brave Bird. At this point, I honestly like the decision to let the Hydreigon go, and then just get farm on Chandelure. This way, Chandelure has shield advantage and an energy lead, and it's going to need it, as there's a Yveltal in the back. In comes the Shadow Ursaluna. Looks like the Yveltal is lagging somewhat, which is really unfortunate to see. Ursaluna is going to fire off the Thunder Punch. Thunder Punch is able to land. Yveltal does have enough for the Focus Blast here, so we see an immediate shield from the Ursaluna. They do full send the Focus Blast, and it's shielded. Ursaluna able to get the farm down. What does the opponent have in the back? They have Melmetal, and this game should be over. Even a superpower is not going to KO Ursaluna from this health range. Ursaluna goes for the high horsepower, gets the shield. Melmetal continuing to farm, and you can just no-shield this, because you know you tank any one move here. They go for the superpower. It doesn't KO, and it looks like the opponent has just given up, allowing the Ursaluna to reach the high horsepower. High horsepower is going to be taking care of the Melmetal and securing the win. Nightmare lead in the next match, Hydreigon into Togekiss. Will need to immediately save switch out of here. In comes Shadow Ursaluna. These charms are adding up on Ursaluna, but Ursaluna is going to be able to outpace Togekiss and reach the Thunder Punch. This Thunder Punch will do quite a bit of damage. Togekiss is going to commit the shield. Togekiss continues to farm. Looks like they're going for a farm down, but they're going to have to give up both shields to do so. Ursaluna reaches the second Thunder Punch, grabs the second shield. Togekiss is going to get the farm down, but had to give up both shields to do so. And now you can bring in Chandelure. The downside is that Togekiss is probably going to be able to reach double Ancient Power and get those shields right back. Chandelure is going to be shielding up the first charge move. Togekiss is able to reach a second move, and we see a second shield from the Chandelure. All shields are down. Togekiss is going to get taken out. We'll have to see what this opponent has in the back. They have a Giratina. They are not ready for Poltergeist. Poltergeist one-shots the Giratina. In the back is Melmetal. Melmetal going for a Rock Slide, but it's caught onto Hydreigon. What a beautiful catch, as Hydreigon will be able to tank that no problem. The question will be, is Melmetal going to be able to overfarm enough to be able to take out the Hydreigon and have a Rock Slide loaded for the Chandelure? That is going to be tough. Melmetal loading up on a ton of energy here, and Hydreigon is going to have to tank this move. It's the superpower. Superpower plus the fast move, able to KO. They reach the Rock Slide. It's debuffed. Is it going to be enough to KO? Yes, it is. And that is a good game. After that tough loss, we move into the next match. Hydreigon into Gyarados. Hydreigon is going to take super effective damage from the Dragon Breaths, but should wall Gyarados' typical arsenal of charge moves. Hydreigon is going to strike first with the Brutal Swing. This will do quite a bit of damage onto the Gyarados, so Gyarados is going to commit the shield. Hydreigon honestly doesn't have to shield here, because any move is not going to KO. Gyarados goes for the Aqua Tail, immediate save switch into the Shadow Ursaluna. Ursaluna applying quite a bit of tackle damage, probably going to look for the one shield and fully farm down here. They do go for the crunch, they get the debuff, and the opponent sends in a Machamp. I don't think Machamp is ready for high horsepower. Ursaluna lands the high horsepower, and down goes Machamp. They bring back in the Gyarados. They are very clearly weak to Ursaluna in the back. Do you save the final shield for Chandelure? Looks like that's exactly what they're going to do. In comes Chandelure, getting that energy lead. What do they have back there? And it's an Excadrill, and this is game over. With the one Incinerate head start, Chandelure is going to be able to reach the back-to-back flame charges needed to win this game, especially when the opponent gives 4 free turns of energy. Chandelure can very safely shield this move, go for the Flame Charge. This Flame Charge will be massive overkill on the Excadrill and secure the victory. The bad leads return in the next match, Hydreigon into another Togekiss. Same game plan as before, immediate save switch into the Shadow Ursaluna. Togekiss is going to farm up and then save switch into a Garchomp. Garchomp is going to be met with the waiting high horsepower. This will do quite a bit of damage if it lands, so the opponent is going to commit the shield and then fire off a Sand Tomb. There's no point in shielding the Sand Tomb. Even if you shield it, you're going to lose switch. So at this point, you are better off just saving the shield and letting the Ursaluna get taken out. And now you kind of have to bring in Hydreigon here, which is a bit uncomfortable. This should just be a Sand Tomb, so Hydreigon should be able to tank this no problem. Although these Dragon Tails are going to do more and more and more damage. Hydreigon able to get the farm down, looking for the switch into Chandelure. Chandelure met with the Togekiss. Togekiss is going to switch out, and in comes Dialga, going straight for the Poltergeist, needing it to land. Poltergeist able to land, and farms down the Dialga. Back in comes Togekiss. The question is, can Togekiss farm down the Chandelure? It looks like the answer may be yes. Hydreigon is close to a Flash Cannon though. It gets shielded. In comes Hydreigon. Hydreigon falls short of the Flash Cannon. Hopping to the final match, and we have a true battle of spice, Hydreigon into Heatran. Both these fast moves are going to be resisted, but even so, the Dragon Breaths are adding up quite a bit. Hydreigon is going to strike first with the Brutal Swing. Brutal Swing is able to land. Heatran continues to farm up. Heatran fires off a charge move just before Hydreigon reaches their next one. Heatran goes for the Flamethrower. Hydreigon is going to resist it, and we see a save switch into Yveltal. Honestly, Yveltal is a pretty scary Pokemon for this team to see. Hydreigon going for the Flash Cannon, it connects and does big damage onto Yveltal. Yveltal farms up and they're able to reach a last second charge move. Yveltal is going to fire off the Dark Pulse. Dark Pulse is going to KO, and one tackle from Ursaluna is able to snipe the Yveltal. In the back, the opponent has a Giratina Origin, and Giratina Origin is in an absolutely terrible spot in this matchup unless they have Dragon Pulse, which they do not. So Ursaluna is in the driver's seat here, going to be firing off high horsepower. High horsepower does get shielded. Opponent is trying to play it out, hoping for a boost. At this point, basically only a boost can save them, but even that, still not looking too good. They continue to spam out moves. In comes Heatran. Heatran goes for a charge move, but in comes Chandelure. Chandelure is going to tank the Flamethrower. Chandelure farms down. Opponent is going to send back in Giratina. Chandelure opting to go for the Flame Charge, not even going to bait the Poltergeist. Flame Charge gets the shield. Giratina going for the farm down. Chandelure able to reach a last second Flame Charge. This is not going to be enough to KO, but it will be enough to get it into high horsepower range. Back in comes Ursaluna. Ursaluna is going to respect a potential Dragon Pulse, but the opponent does not have it. Ursaluna in a very comfortable spot here, going to be able to expend both of those shields and reach the high horsepower. High horsepower will be plenty enough to take out the Giratina, and that is a good game. And now some final thoughts on XL Poltergeist Chandelure. I would say Chandelure, much like the other Pokemon on this team, definitely more in the fun category than in terms of high meta, but it is very cool to see a trainer use 3 Comday Pokemon, 0 legendaries, and still have success in the Open Master League. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. If you're enjoying the content, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And a special thank you, as always, to our members here on YouTube. The support you guys provide is absolutely incredible. So thank you guys oh so very much. And until next time, I've been HomeSliceHenry.